Welcome to the presentation on LNBits, where we're going to go over how to install it and how to use its API. Is everybody ready? Yeah. Let's do it. I couldn't think of a subtitle for this talk except is amazing, so that's the subtitle. LNBits is awesome, or is amazing. You can get this slideshow by going to this URL, tinyurl.com/install-lnbits. And we're going to do an experiment today because I'm using a MacBook, and I've never installed this on a MacBook. Who thinks it's going to go smoothly? I don't see any hands. So there we go. All right, let's go to this. So the next thing is going to have it has some installation guides for us. If anyone is following along at home, there are installation guides for various backends that you can use for this. And let's get to it. First thing we're going to do is use Git. So we will find out if Git is installed on this computer. Control C. Is it Command C in Mac? All right. Smooth so far. Paste this into here. Not sure how to paste. There's no right click. Command P?
Command V.
Okay, Command V. Smooth. Smooth as glitter. Or glitter's not smooth. The Git command requires the command line developer tools. Can I install those? It's going to ask for your agreement. Continue on battery power, I suppose. Seems like something's happening. Finding software. Look at this. Macs are amazing. Macs are my favorite non-Linux operating system. Yeah. Well, I was all frustrated. That's all. I'm in good spirits now because we're moving. We're smooth sailing. 104 hours. Smooth sailing across the Atlantic Ocean. Is there a way to not do this part and still have Git installed? Anyone familiar with? All right.
There's 8 minutes. Can you stall for 8 minutes?
It's an hour and 104 hours and 8 minutes.
See that part.
Although it is strange that it's already halfway done.
It might be on a disk.
Brew install Git. Brew's not here.
All right, install brew.
Install brew.
Install brew. Google install homebrew on Mac.
All right. We're not smooth sailing. We have officially passed smooth sailing, and now we're into uncharted territory. How to install brew on Mac. The missing package manager.
Oh, there you go.
This looks easy. Come on. I'd missed the copy button until it was like too late. Watch this. Paste. Enter.
Oh, password though. It's 9 cents.
Shouldn't have told me that. Yeah, good. That was also a terrible password for a Bitcoiner. Not that anyone recording this would need to know that. All right. See, things are happening. While it's doing this, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our procedure today. First, we're going to install LNBits, and we're going to get it running on our computers. Then we're going to switch over to the demo server online, and I'm going to show you how to use the LNBits API. And once you've got the thing running on your own computer and you know how to use the API, you can build apps, which is cool. So that's kind of what I want to teach you all to do. That's where we're at. Is this also going to take 104 hours?
What is LNBits? Can you explain what LNBits is?
Yes, I can explain what LNBits is while we're waiting. I'm going to explain that using this little user's guide thing. LNBits is a free and open source Lightning Network wallet and accounts system. This description is always, there's like 4 or 5 things that I think are really cool about LNBits, and they're not easy to sloganize. So yeah, it is an account system, or it has an account system in it, which is like, I'll show you this on the Legends server. Legends.lnbits.com, not that. Dot. I can't remember if it's plural or not. It is this. Okay, so what it means by an account system is that this is, when you install LNBits, this is what you see. Like this is the front end interface for it. And you can create a bunch of wallets with it. So I'm going to make test wallet here. I've got a wallet on here, and it's telling you to copy your URL because your password is in your URL. But I've got one. I'm going to make another one just by going to legend.lnbits.com and creating another one, wallet 2. Add new wallet. Okay, and now I've got 2 wallets, and if I like deposit money into one of these, I can send it back and forth between them or really do anything. It's a wallet system. You can like run a copy of this in your own computer on your own node and then let people have wallets on that you're running for them. Like you're their back end, and any money they put in will go onto your node, and any money they send will be managed by your node. That's kind of cool. It's a nice tool for being Uncle Jim in your neighborhood. You can be like, well, you don't have to run in a Lightning node. I'm running one, and you can just use mine.
It's all custodial, right?
Yeah, whoever's running it custodies the funds. So I'm going to show you guys how to run it so you can custody the funds. And this guy, whoever's running this, Ben Ark, is running this server, I think. He's custodying any funds we put on here. So that's one of the cool things about it, is this account system where you can be the local node runner for your community and just give everyone a wallet. Another cool thing is the extensions. This is my second favorite thing about LNBits, is this extensions page where you can install like a billion things that increase the functionality of your Bitcoin node. When Lightning Network implementations began arising in the 2018s and 19s, there was no standardized way to write plugins for them. A couple of them, Eclair and Core Lightning, had their own plugin architecture, but like Lightning or LND did not. So this website came out that had support for all those backends. You can run it on Eclair, you can run it on LND, you can run it on C Lightning, but any plugins you create work with all of them. So it's like a unified interface for making plugins, which is cool. And that leads right into my first favorite thing about LNBits, is that it works with so many backends. As we'll see in a minute, if this is done, you can install LNBits and get it working with Core Lightning, Eclair, LND, OpenNode, LNTXBot, Cliche, and probably like 3 other ones. 3 other places where you can have funds on the Lightning Network can be the thing that holds the money in LNBits. Okay, Brew is still taking 104 hours to get through. So, any thoughts, anyone, about what might be going wrong here? Oh, look, it finished. Wow, that's nice. Brew install what? Git. Brew's not found. Well, exit didn't work like it does on Linux, and then I minimized accidentally. X, command space, terminal, and now we should have Git. Check it out, we have Git. Okay, so now we are installing LNBits using the guide that is right here. Once we have it, we're going to cd into that, we're going to change directories into that server, LNBits legend. You guys probably can't see this. I can make it bigger though. Does that help?
Yes.
Sorry about my suboptimal necessities. Okay, this wants us to install Python, which we don't have the aptitude package manager in on this machine. Do we have Python though? So we can install LNBits. Yes, we do have Python. So exit. And we can skip this part. I can skip this part. You all will probably, if you're running this on Linux, you'll need to do this part. If you're running on Windows, you're on your own. I don't know how to do Windows. If you're running on Mac, you can follow what I'm doing right now, but we already have Python, so we don't need to do that. And then it wants us to get this thing called Poetry. So, brew install Poetry. Brew is still not here?
It's just the curl command. Yeah, you can do curl.
You can do curl on here? Okay.
You might have to set
The problem is, one of the problems is that I can't actually click and drag very easily on here. There. Command C. paste, enter. It doesn't like it. Okay, but this is not really working. This build of Python cannot create virtual environments without symlinks. Anyone ever encountered this problem on a Mac before?
What's the problem?
His Python can't create virtual environments without symlinks.
Python and Mac sucks because he's like old version. You gotta like tweak it. He's like
Yeah, that's what poetry is supposed to be for. The poetry thing is supposed to give you the right version of Python, but it doesn't work on Mac apparently.
you know how to put homebrew in your bash RC file.
How to put homebrew.
You need change your software on there. I just refreshed this little computer when I had most of the stuff on here. I just got it running with Docker in like 2.
Okay, he got it running with Docker, so
Alternatively,
yeah, there is an alternative installation method down here called Docker.
yeah, you have to install Docker Desktop to do that.
Okay, so am I doing the wrong thing?
Unless you install Docker Desktop, that might be.
Brew install Docker desktop?
Yeah, it's like that.
So I'm doing it wrong. What do I do? What do I do? As the runner of this tutorial, this is not what I intended.
Type in
Docker.
install
Install
Mac.
Mac.
Install Docker.
You gotta add homebrew to your path. Just do
Should be with Intel.
Do I have to install Homebrew to my path, or do I have to install Docker desktop?
It's the one that says Silicon. The one that says Silicon. The one that says Silicon. That one.
It opened up a dictionary.
It's because you push too hard.
You don't want to go.
You have to push softly on a Mac? All right.
It's not plastic.
It's not plastic. All right, Macs are not plastic is one thing I've learned today.
I just turned that. That's an actual setting where there's different pressure sensitivities. I just turned that off. That's not my Mac. That's
So what we're doing now is we're waiting 5 more seconds for Docker Desktop to finish downloading. Then we're going to have to wait about 104 hours for Docker Desktop to finish installing.
and then you just drag it. There you go. Drop it in the folder.
I don't know how else to do that.
There you go. You do it.
Yay!
Now you're installing stuff.
Things are happening. This looks like it's not going to take 104 years. Okay.
So next you're gonna open it, and then you're going to CD into the elements
command-
legend, which you already
Is this how I open it? It says Docker.
No, it's command
Go to your
space bar.
apps.
Type in Docker. Okay, enter.
I could probably get rid of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think Docker will open up in the background, which... Huh?
Hit open.
Oh.
Hit OK. Type in stack sets.
Don't say out loud what I'm typing in, Car.
Install. Hit accept.
Okay,
There you go.
we've got something happening. This is an alternative method of installation in case you have a Mac. And smooth. Smooth. Let's see what the next instruction is. The next instruction, you can close out of that one. Don't need those two. Control Shift T. Yeah. Docker. So now I got to go into my directory and paste this command. Copy that. And I am already in the directory. You can tell because it says LNBits legend. Wait, is this good? It came back to me. Right click. Nope, that's not how you right click. It's command paste. Command paste. Okay, so we're getting LNBits installed on this computer. This is about as long as it would have taken if I'd have been doing it on Linux. So
How Super learns how to use a Mac.
Super learns how to use a Mac. The alternative title. Why don't I just go while it's doing this and change our LNBits title? I now know a subtitle. I'm not an editor on here. I'm not logged in. I want to change the subtitle to Where Super Learns How to Use a Mac, but can't do it. Okay, so installing LNBits on our local computer is nice because if you're using the Legend server or someone else's server, then you don't have control over your money. But if you install it on your own computer, you do. Everyone good? Does that make sense?
What's Docker?
Docker is a program for running programs. It's like a they use fancy terms. I don't know what these terms mean. Something to do with containers. It like puts your apps in a container, and I think that means it can't hurt your operating system.
Kind of like a VM, but on your own machine, sort of, if you're familiar with that.
It's a virtual machine maker. It spins up a virtual machine and puts your app inside that virtual machine so that it can only hurt things within that fake computer.
Just a bunch of Linux containers running out of the box.
Oh, okay.
So that's
right
what
now
Docker
it's
is.
installing,
It seems to be doing a bunch of things. But it finished, so that's nice. We can follow the next instruction, which is to copy the environment. This is, we have setting files in Linux, in the Linux world, apparently in the Mac world, called environment files. And we are going to make one, if I can figure out how to copy this command. Everything's different on a Mac. Paste, copy that. Create a directory called data. Paste, done. And now we run our thing. Paste, enter. Something seems to have happened. Cool. So that's the last instruction it gave me. I think that should mean I am able to pull this up in my pull up our own local copy of LNBits. Yes.
What? Is that how that works?
We've got LNBits running on our local computer now. Woohoo! Okay, you can do all the things I was doing earlier. You can create a wallet called Wallet 3. It's got information reminding you to save your password, which is up there in the URL. Yeah, we got a little wallet here, and I'm going to make Wallet 4 just for kicks and giggles. We got another wallet. Now, if we tried to create a payment request here, like let's say, sorry, wrong button, create an invoice for, why? 5,000 sats. If I tried to create an invoice, it may give me an error. In fact, it did give me an error because this isn't hooked up to a Lightning node. You need to be hooked up to a Lightning node. And I intended on my Linux box to show you how to do that quickly, but we've already way past quickly. So I think I'm going to skip that part. Figure out on your own using the guides that I linked here.
Can you spin one up on voltage, maybe?
I don't want to.
Okay.
There are video guides here for installing like Core Lightning or installing LNBits or LND, I mean, and hooking them up to your local version of this. So do that if you want to learn how to do this. But we're going to move forward now to learning how to use the LNBits API to build our own wallet interface and other stuff. You guys ready to do that?
Yeah.
Let's do it. We have a new GitHub. What? Why? Why? I don't understand. I don't want the dictionary every time I click. Anytime I click, I don't want a dictionary. Pull up this additional slideshow. You guys are getting a sneak preview because this slideshow is from the PlebDev course that Austin Carr and I are creating, where we teach people how to build Lightning Network applications, assuming you have zero experience coding before. Yeah, so you're getting spoilers right here. We're going to scroll on down to slide 15, where we're going to use JavaScript to create our first Bitcoin wallet. In previous lessons of this course that you guys haven't taken, you would have created a wallet which looks like what I'm about to download, which is contained in this GitHub that Austin made. So what did I do here? I know I went a little fast. You opened up this slideshow, or you should open up this slideshow, scroll down to slide 15, and then click that GitHub link. All right? Everyone able to follow along to this point? Then we're going to download a zip file containing this stuff. All right? That's what we're going to do. Download that zip file and open up the zip file. And we should have a new directory here called Learn CSS. Okay. Why am I doing this? Because there's a little wallet in here that we are going to, it's an incomplete wallet, and we're going to finish it. So how do you, is command click a thing? How do you right click or context click in?
Two-directional click like this.
Cool. So I'm going to open this with Safari. Check this out. This is an incomplete wallet that we're going to finish using LNBits as the source of information about Bitcoin. So this is a wallet that if you take our course, you will build yourself. And of course, you can make it look better because you'll have learned the skills you need if you take our course to do all this. But we get you to this point where you have a wallet that looks like this. And the current step is to finish this so that like all of this dummy data becomes real data from the real Bitcoin network and the Lightning Network. So let's do that. I don't want this open. I said to open it in Safari, but I think I want to open this in Chrome because I was using Chrome for other stuff. So is this one minimized or is this one?
Command spacebar. And then type in, type in the Chrome. What do you do?
I don't.
Command spacebar.
Command spacebar. Chrome. Okay. So paste it into there. Yeah, you can access my downloads folder. All right, cool. So what we're going to do now is go to this slideshow and follow the instructions. The instructions say that we need to open up this file index.html in a text editor. So where is Finder? Right click. Watch me go. I know how to right click. Super's learning. And we're going to open this with the text edit app. I like the soft touch. The soft touch is good. This is not what I expected. Is there a way to maximize? Yes, probably using the maximize button, which is the green one. This doesn't look like a text editor. This looks rather visual. I expected to see text, and I see not text. Is there a way to... Well, I want to see the text, this is not text. I'm going to close this and try a different text editor.
You can right-click open with application and then open with VS Code or Notepad.
Hit other. And then
What's a good text editor in here?
I don't think it comes with a text editor.
Well, text edit showed graphics though, which is not what I want.
I think it comes with a text editor.
Okay, so I will go. Next thing we're going to do is get a text editor.
Just use VI or Vim or Nano.
Nano is included on here?
I don't know.
No, they're just saying names. You have to download it.
Hang on. Nanotest.txt. We'll find out. We do have Nano. Nano's a little text editor included in many consoles, including this one. Control X. So let us go into your downloads folder. And into, what was it that is learn CSS main. And Nano, that index.html file. Yeah, you can access that folder. This is what I wanted to see. Okay, I'm going to go to the bottom of it. Control, that didn't do it. Page down. Where's page down? Does it have page down? No. Your keyboard doesn't have page down. And we're going to paste into here the code that it told us to paste after the footer. So what I said to do in here is after the footer, create some script tags. Copy that. Go back to Nano. Paste. Indent these properly. Save. It does not. Control O should save. Yeah. And now if we go back to our browser and load this pleb wallet, this should change slightly. Does anyone see any changes? Probably not, because it changed in the console. You can right-click and inspect to view your console. And look at that. We have the word test. We are able to modify our web page. Ladies and gentlemen, APIs are working. Next thing in our instruction set is to do this, DOM manipulation. Okay, DOM manipulation is something that you guys probably know what DOM manipulation is because most of you are programmers. This is mostly in here for people who are new to programming, which is what this course is designed for. But I'm enabling the $ syntax that jQuery introduced for doing DOM manipulation. Is everyone familiar with that term? Manipulating the DOM?
Kyle is.
Most people aren't. Wow, okay, well, here's another sneak peek at our lesson. In HTML documents they have this thing called a document object model, or a DOM, where everything in your HTML document is laid out in these tag things. See how you've got like a tag here that says footer, and you've got one called div up here. See all those? Document object manipulation is JavaScript's way of like grabbing one of these things and changing it. And in your browser, when you change those things, it changes how it's displayed. So like, if we changed the footer, then this down here, where it says made by plebs for plebs, we can change that using JavaScript, which is cool. So we're going to paste in what it says to do, and what it says to paste in is that. We can get rid of the console log test line. And what comes of this? Well, let me tell you, we are able to save and refresh, and we're able to change the price. Look at that. The price is no longer $19,000. It is now test, which is cool, because we just changed stuff on our website using the document object manipulation protocol. Yeah. So the next thing we're going to do is change it to a number. We're going to get the real Bitcoin price and change it not to the word test, but to the actual Bitcoin price. Okay. So here, we are going to use a function called getData, which I wrote. I wrote this function that gets data from the internet and puts it on your web page. So we're going to pop this into our document and use it. If I was teaching people how to use JavaScript right now, I would tell them all about the methods that are in an HTTP request. We're making a request to the internet, and in JavaScript that's called an HTTP request. And I would tell you guys, if I was teaching you this, about these, about what you can do inside an HTTP request. Like you can check if it's open, you can send the request, you can tell your page what to do when your request comes back, which is what this ready state change thing does. Like we're getting information from the internet, what do I do when it gives us that information? It's all in this function. However, since you guys are already programmers, I don't need to tell you guys about this stuff, so I will just copy this, paste it down here, and other editors would indent this stuff for us. But this one does not, because it's only nano. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we've got no, Control O, Enter. Now we've got the ability to get data from the internet. And so the next thing we're going to do is get Bitcoin's price and pop it in. So this function, well, it's called getBitcoinPrice. It uses that getData function we just used to call out to Coinbase and say, hey, Coinbase, what's the price of Bitcoin right now? That's the Bitcoin USD spot price. They give us back something called a JSON, which has the price of Bitcoin in it. We unpack that JSON and get the amount. I will show you what a JSON looks like so you can see what we're doing. Hit enter. That downloads this response.json file for us. And if I open that, we get an Adobe advertisement. I don't know what it's doing. I hit cancel and it opened anyway.
It's opening up a web application. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to open that JSON file in a text editor.
Oh, you have to do it the same way you did it a while ago with the HTML.
Well, I would love to, but this thing won't close. Close? Soft touch isn't working anymore. So, Control J, Command J.
Downloads folder already.
Okay, so, no, Control O, Control X, go back to the downloads folder, and nano response.json. Okay, so this is what Coinbase gave us back. This is called a JSON object, and it's how computers talk to each other on the internet. They use these curly brackets, because computers love those things. It's how they can tell when a string begins or ends. And they love quotation marks, because that defines a data type as being a piece of text. And then it gives us all this information, like we're talking about Bitcoin, We're comparing it with US dollars, and the amount currently, as of when we downloaded this thing, is $21,316.38. So every 5 seconds or 10 seconds, we're going to get this little file from Coinbase, and we're going to pop this number into our HTML document. How do we do that? Well, this piece of code right here, not that one, this piece of code gets this file, calls it a JSON and parses it. JSON's that bracket thing that I was showing you. And then it says the price is equal to go into the JSON, go into the data section of the JSON and get the amount. If we look back at our little file here, this is the JSON. We're going into the data section, which is all of this. And there's 3 values in here, base, currency, and amount. And we're getting the amount. So that's what we're doing. We're going to pop that into our thing. Copy this whole function. Go into learn CSS main. Hello? Why is it freezing up? Oh, I'm in there. Good. And nano index.html. Scroll down to the bottom. This doesn't have page down, so I can't do it quickly. And we'll just paste this function right under our getData function.
Does it matter where you paste everything?
Not right now. When we use these functions, it will matter that the function that we're going to create a function later called app, and when we call the function app, it's going to use all of these things, and it has to be under everything that it's using. If you put it above the thing it's using, then it'll look for it, and it won't find it because the page hasn't loaded that part yet, and then it'll error. But when we're just adding functions to the page and we're not actually using them yet, it doesn't matter where you put them. Scroll with 2 fingers?
Yep.
Let me try that. That's scrolling up the terminal, but not up the nano document. Okay, so now we're going to create this function called app, which I just told you about. And the function app is going to get the price using the getBitcoinPrice function. And then it's going to use our DOM manipulation to get one of the HTML elements and put the price in there with a dollar sign. So it looks nice and pretty. So that is what we're going to do here. Oh, and then we're going to call this app function. And this is the one where it matters where you put it. You have to put this underneath the thing that you're calling. So put that into our file. Paste it. Indent it. This part's tedious. A normal document editor would do this for you, but Nano does not. Save. And if we go back to our document, check this out. Our wallet now, refresh, has the actual Bitcoin price loaded right here, which is what we want. Cool, right? This is an API. You guys have just learned the secret to like 95% of coding is like taking an API with data from one website and then taking data from another website and making something cool out of it. Like Uber is like, I'm going to take data about where you're at from your cell phone. Guess how that's encoded? In a JSON. Your cell phone sends a JSON off to Uber, and it's like, this is where he's at. And he's like, I'm going to get a location from another person, and they're just going to show the user, here's where this car is, and here's where this car is. Like that's how websites work. They're just talking to computers all day long. And now you know how to do that, because we just did it to put the Bitcoin price on this web page. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Having fun? Cool. Next thing we're going to do is open up a dictionary. Next thing we're going to do is open a dictionary. But then we're going to slightly change our app function. There's a slight difference between these two versions of our app function. The slight difference is this extra little line here called set timeout. Now what does this do? This set timeout says run a function called app every 10 seconds. This is 10,000 milliseconds. JavaScript counts in milliseconds. But yeah, it says run the function app every 10 milliseconds. So what that's going to do is it's going to run this app function on a loop so that we don't just get the current price of Bitcoin when we load the page, but every 10 seconds it'll update it for us. So we're just going to copy this little line, go back to our file here. I apologize for having the mic moving around in my face. And indent it, save. And now if we refresh our wallet, every 10 seconds this thing should update and give us the current price of Bitcoin. Woohoo! We're doing stuff. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a wallet on LNBits, and we're going to get its balance. Now, ideally, we should do this on our own local copy of LNBits, but I skipped the part where we connect it to a Bitcoin node, and so there is no money on our LNBits wallets. So instead of doing that, I'm going to use the Legend server, where it is hooked up to a Bitcoin node and it won't give us errors. So let's do that. There are instructions. Follow the instructions. The instructions say, get the balance of an LNBits wallet. And in order to do that, the first thing we've got to do is we've got to modify our getData function. Why do we got to do that? Well, our original getData function, we just passed a URL to it, and then it called out to that URL and asked for information back. If we're going to do that to LNBits, LNBits will give us an error unless we include something called an API key. And an API key will allow us to access a particular wallet. It's basically a password. And so LNBits will only talk to you if you know the password to your wallet. So we need to pass that as an argument to it, then we need to pass a content type, because it only wants to talk to us in JSON, and there are some other formats that computers can talk to each other with. They can talk to each other with CSV, for example, but it wants us to tell it, give me back JSON. So that's what we're going to do next, is modify our getData function so that we can pass this data to LNBits. Copy. Go into here. In the nano editor, you can use Control-K to jump around? What did it do? Oh, I didn't use Control, I used Command. You could use the Control-K option to get rid of a line. So I'm going to get rid of the old getData function, and I'm going to paste the new one. And I'm going to skip the indenting, because JavaScript actually doesn't care where you do your indenting, but I do care. But in this case, it's taking too long to do the indenting. So I'm just going to save. And now we can get data from LNBits about our wallet. So the next one is get LNBits balance. So we're going to create a function here that's going to call out to the LNBits API. Now this one, it's not always obvious how to deal with APIs. Like, I didn't show you guys how did I know that if I called this URL, this Coinbase URL, it would give me that data object that has Bitcoin's price. If you're trying to make an application, this is stuff you're going to have to learn how to find out. Like, I want to get the Bitcoin price. How do I do that? So in the case of Coinbase, what I would do if I was learning this, I would Google, how do I get the Bitcoin price from the Coinbase API? And Coinbase would have this little Coinbase API document, well, actually this is Stack Overflow, that tells you, what URL to query and what options you have. Coinbase has stuff down here that tells you this information as well. For LNBits, so if you were doing this on your own, you'd do something like this. You'd Google, how do I get the price from wherever I want to get it from, and then follow the instructions that the internet gives you. For LNBits, its API is included over here. So whenever you create a new wallet, you get API info for it. And this API info, if you click it, tells you how to get wallet details, how to create an invoice, how to pay an invoice, and other stuff. So this is the one we're using. We're going to send a GET request to this /API/v1/wallet, and that is shorthand for a URL. Whenever you see something that this kind of looks like a URL, it looks like the second half of a URL, and when you see that in an API,
it's telling you that the URL it starts after this part. Like, it's the current URL, wherever you're at, slash this stuff. That's how you're to read an API that is written in this format, where it only gives you half. The other half is whatever website you're on. Make sense? Cool. So we're going to call this, we have to pass this password, 779 whatever. That's the password we have to pass. And then it'll give us our answer back. So I've already written this out into a function here. Not that one. This one, the get LNBits balance function. It just follows what that instruction set told us. It goes to this URL, slaps on the API part, where it said /API/v1/wallet, and then I'm passing in this password, but I have to change this to this new wallet right here. So the new password is 7795. So keep on doing that. The new one is going to be 77 paste. Paste isn't working. I probably didn't copy. Control copy.
You're not on the owner of the document.
That's right. Okay, thank you. So I will just paste it when I do this part. Okay, so we copy this function. Copy that. Go into here. I'm going to put this function right under get Bitcoin price because it's similar. It's just instead of getting Bitcoin's price, we're getting the balance of a thing. And then I'm going to change this password, or API key, to the one in our current LNBits wallet. Everyone understand why I'm doing that? Yeah? No? Looks like some people might be confused. So LNBits will only talk to me if I know a password. LNBits would not like it if, let's say that there's a lot of people who are on this particular LNBits server who have wallets, and someone might have a Bitcoin and a half in their LNBits wallet. It would be really bad if I could just query this and get everybody's information and be like, aha, this guy's got 1.5 Bitcoins. So how LNBits protects against that is by requiring that we also pass a password. And each wallet, like I've created a couple other ones here, each wallet has different passwords for it. So if I want to get wallet details, this one's password is C2C, and this one's password is 779, and so forth. And that ensures that since you have to know the password for your wallet when you're making queries to it, you can't find out someone else's information. You can only find out information about wallets that you created, which is good, because that's secure. Does that make sense now? Cool. So I'm going to copy this little API key and go back to our document here and paste it in the spot where I deleted the old one. We're going to save this. Control O. And then there's one more thing we need to do. We have a function here for getting an LNBits balance, but we're not using that function. So I need to add a command down here in app that's going to use that function to change the balance card. So let me tell you what I mean by the balance card. Back to this. The balance card of our wallet is this one. It currently says we have 897,900 sats, but that's just dummy data. We're going to change this and make it actually what our wallet has, which is currently 0. And so let's do that. Oh, wrong thing again. The function we need is right here. Get the balance using the getBalance function, and then get that balance card and set its value to however many sats we just got from our API. So we do that right here, paste. And if we refresh our page now, we will see well, why did it do that? What did I do wrong? I have to check what I did wrong. Where is it getting the word test from? Command W, test. Aha, it's getting it from up here, and we can get rid of that. This was the example I made earlier where I showed you how to change, how to do document object manipulation. We don't need that anymore, so get rid of those lines. Save, come back here, refresh. Now that's not the accurate price. We have an error somewhere. Let's go see. If you get one, so how do I know I got an error? Well, first of all, this is not the current Bitcoin price.
What's the price?
It's 21,000 is the current Bitcoin price, because it was just 21,000 a few seconds ago. And then this is supposed to say 0 now. So we got an error since it's not; those two things are not accurate. And how you check your errors in JavaScript is to right-click your screen, click Inspect.
We're sure you say crash.
Yeah, and we go to your console, where we have an unexpected token called ... I accidentally copy-pasted a ... into my code right there. Just delete it, and now refresh our page, and we have another error. It also says we have an unexpected token called a close parenthesis at line 63. Most text editors will show you what lines of code you're on, but this one does not. So we just have to search for it because the Nano does not tell us what line 61 is. What? Where do you see a parenthesis out of place?
A few places above where you are, like 4.
What, here?
Yeah, maybe.
No, this one's supposed to be there. That is the close of this function. So that one's fine. I think it was mad about this parenthesis, the parenthesis at the end of this function. I had it on the wrong line, I think, but I just fixed that. It might, maybe this one. That was on the wrong line. So let's try that, Control O, and see if we got a fix. No, it did not. Still at line 63. One thing Chrome will tell us. Chrome says this getData function, that's the problem. There's a parenthesis here that's not supposed to be there. So, go up to our getData function, which is right there, and this parenthesis is not supposed to be there. So let me take a look at this. Proper indenting helps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that I think is the problem. This right here is supposed to be the line that closes this function out, but there's an extra. There was a parenthesis there, and then there's this extra unneeded curly bracket. So that should fix it. Refresh. Well, it got rid of that one error, but we still have one left. You see the little red X, and then a counter that tells you how many errors you got. So we have an error there. And then we have this error, which says XHTTP is not defined at this line, which is XHTTP open. And yeah, I accidentally deleted something, which was in my original getData function. I needed this. So copy those, go back to here, and paste them. And this explains why I had that extra parenthesis, actually. I needed that extra parenthesis because this thing needs a close for this one. Needs something to close this parenthesis, which happens at the end. So, do our indentation. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. That, and I think that will make it happy. Control O, back to our document, refresh, and I'm not seeing any errors. But yeah, it doesn't see any errors now, but these things are not updating. which I would think they should have. So I'm going to take a look. I'm going to see why they did not. Now we're doing debugging. You guys are going to learn debugging today in JavaScript. This is not something I expected to teach you because I expected to have this all working, but it doesn't work. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this app function is running. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to tell the function to log the phrase I'm running. And when I do that and refresh the page, it is running. Okay, so that ran, but let's see what happened here. No, not that. Go back up. Go to, now I want it to tell me what the balance is. So I'm going to say console log balance. Save that. Refresh that. And it is not telling me the balance. So that is where a problem is. The get balance function is not running. Get LNBits balance, where's that? That one is this one. So let's see if this one is running. Console.log, I'm running.
And you're doing that because it'll hit that async function and then?
Yeah, so down here we call this line here says it creates a variable called balance and sets its value to whatever this function, get LNBits balance, tells it. So it is waiting for the get LNBits balance function to return something, and that function is, now I'm just checking to see that that function is actually running.
Putting it underneath it as opposed to before it, right? So
Yeah, I have to, because this function's calling that one, it has to be underneath it. So save this file, Control O, go back here, press refresh, and now we see two I'm running. So the get balance function is running. Why is it not returning that data?
Token there, like I see a dollar sign in it. Is it supposed to be just numeric? Like on the line with var data?
Var data. You see a dollar sign somewhere?
Yeah, and your token after the URL.
Oh, that is just Nano telling us that there's more data over to the right-hand side. Nano does not do text wrapping, so it tells you that there's more over here, and you can see it if you scroll past that dollar sign. But the dollar sign is not in your text. That is a hint that Nano's giving us that there's more data. So that is not the problem, but let's see if it's getting this data file back. Console log data. And refresh this page, and it is not. Okay, so that part's not running. This is helpful. So
Just pass the token as a second argument, or don't you have to say X API key? It's like the key, and then the token is the value.
I'm passing this information to the getData function, and if you look at the getData function takes those parameters, URL, API key, and creates this HTTP request where
could you use a marker?
I can, yes. Here's a marker. So the function down here calls this guy and passes these two parameters to it, URL and API key. And if there is an API key, then it creates this X API key equals, is set to this value. So I think that's all working. But what I suspect is the problem is that I didn't set the content type that I expect back, which is application JSON. So let me see if adding that helps. Application JSON. Command O. Nope. Control O. That didn't work. It wants me to dictate now. I think I hit Option O. Refresh. Still didn't work. So let's see if this one's running. Console log. I'm running too. Refresh. It is running. Well, this is strange. I'm really confused.
This ain't Halloween.
This is rather unsettling.
Coinbase,
So
maybe?
let's see. Maybe I wonder if. Oh, I see what the problem is. I must have screwed up this function earlier because I had a thing here that said, if you get a response back, then do this with it, and that's deleted. There's nothing telling it what to do when it gets a response back.
We're going to tell it to display it?
Well, I told it that earlier because we tested this earlier and it worked. But I think I must have deleted it when I was screwing everything else up. So I'm going to put that back in. Control paste. Not that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Control O. Go back to our page. What do you guys think? Is it going to work this time?
It's going to work.
He thinks it's going to work. He has such confidence. Check that out.
Wow, can you believe it?
Yay! All right. So I think have we been an hour yet?
Was that a flash crash that we just saw? 19,000 and shot back up, 21,000?
What time is it?
56.
We're at 56 minutes? Okay. So we're not going to get through the rest. I was going to show you how to populate this, but I did show you how to use an API. So as your homework, if you guys want to, you can complete this and do this part. The instructions are in the slideshow. So.
Wait, but how do we can't fund our wallet yet.
Oh, yeah, you can, because it's getting this information from this guy. So you can just create an invoice for, I don't know, 50 cents. And I'm going to pay LNBits 50 cents. Can you believe it? Baller. You want me to give you 50 cents? And when I do this, let's just see what happens. What should happen, I haven't hit send yet, but our wallet should update in about 10 seconds. It should. So let's see. This is not sent yet. It just sent. So within the next 10 seconds, this should update and show that we have 50 sats in there. Boom. So yeah. Now you know how to use an API and how to start working on your Pleb wallet, but you'll have to finish using the instructions provided in the slideshow. Thank you guys for attending. I hope you liked learning about LNBits, and let me know if you have any questions after the show.